profile different leaders, you'll see different way they are. Like you'll say, ooh, that guy's extremely jealous. He is extremely envious if anybody else gets more attention than me. That guy's just flat out, ice cold, ruthless, okay? He's a deal maker. As long as he makes money, he's happy. He's not killing nobody. That guy is, extremely brilliant, strategic, and, he's the kind of guy that'll look at your face and smile, and you'll walk away saying, I just had a great meeting with Bobby. 30 minutes later, you're dead. And he shoots you in the head, right? Yeah. So what was Sonny? What was his profile? Because you've spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah, Sonny's a very complicated man. I'm going to give you an example of, if it wasn't Sonny's idea, it wasn't a good idea, no matter if it benefited everybody or not. I had been trying to resolve the Nordic bike war. The Banditos and the Hells Angels were fighting in the Scandinavian countries, and they were very well equipped. And I know it's difficult, or can be difficult, to get guns in some of the European countries. And how are these guys getting these rocket launchers? They're shooting rockets in each other's clubhouses. They're armed with automatic weapons, handguns, grenades, and whatnot. Well, I find out that each town has a militia. And at the end of the town, there's a armory. And the armory is secured with just a padlock. So these clubs are going around popping these padlocks, and they're arming themselves. I had negotiated with George Weggers, he's no longer alive. He was the international leader of the Banditos at the time. We were at odds with each other when we first started negotiating. I became very close friends with him as time passed, and we negotiated a peace between the Hells Angels and the Banditos in Europe. We were doing it for selfish reasons. We didn't want the war to bleed into the United States because it would have just been a mess. And my position was it was just something that the feds would have loved. We're in the United States now killing each other. I've always had suspicion at some point in time the government is going to go after all these motorcycle clubs, Indonesia, and their trademarks and whatnot. And that was one of the things that I was worried about. But I had negotiated with George Weggers. George Weggers and I were on great terms, great relationship. And George Weggers and I made an agreement. And he had mapped out a map with the United States map and mapped out an area and then signed it. And he said as long as he was leader of the Banditos, this would be the area. They wouldn't encroach on our areas. We had an area marked out. I took that map to the meeting, to officers' meeting, and Sonny was there. And I petitioned him to come with me to this meeting. I said, let's all agree to this here in the room. It was all filled with Hells Angel presidents. I go, let's agree to this. Let's go meet George Weggers together with his delegation of Banditos. And I said, let's secure this. And I go, this is good for the Hells Angels. And I said, if Sonny Barger walks into that room with me, I go, they'll give me whatever we want. And he thought about it. He wouldn't give me an answer. And so I shelved it. The end of the meeting came. I said, Sonny, what are we going to do? Are you going to come? And he goes, you know what? I'm not going. And I said, why? I go, this benefits the Hells Angels. Why won't you go? And he told me, he goes, because I just don't like them. And he was willing to keep the war going, to create more conflicts. My position was I didn't want to see any more Hells Angels in court, ultimately in prison, or finally in a graveyard. And he didn't care. That's the attitude Sonny had, and people knew it. And if you crossed him, you didn't know what he was going to do. Terry the Tramp, Harry the Horse. I mean, these are people upstart. These are people that they're still unsolved murders. It's now, this stuff happened in the 70s. If you look, the decade of the 70s was very difficult for Hells Angels. There's a lot of unsolved murders still. To this day, they're not solved. Tiny, the guy's 6'6", 350 pounds. He vanishes into thin air.
It's a tough guy to vanish.
Yeah, a big guy to vanish. So when you have acts of violence like this, whether real or imagined, did Tiny disappear or did he?
What was Tiny's name? Tiny?
I just knew him by Tiny.
That's it.
That's it.
And it was in Hell's Angels.
He was a Hell's Angel. He was vice president of
Rob, can you see who? Tiny, Hell's Angels, 6'6".
Oakland.
Oakland.
Because there were 3 Tinys in the Hell's Angels. So
go to images.
Tiny Waters? Yep.
Is it Tiny Walters?
Yep, that's him.
6'6", famously vanished after the 1969 film Hell's Angels 69. Can you pull up his image, Rob? Let's see what he looks like.
He fell on one of the Oakland protesters when Sonny and the Oakland Hells Angels went to disrupt the Vietnam Peace March. Tiny fell on one of the, there he is right there in the lower left-hand corner. There he is. He fell on one of the Oakland police officers and broke his leg. He didn't do it intentionally. It was just, that's how big he was. Yeah.
So he disappears.
He disappears.
So, Sonny, can you pull up Sonny's picture so we can see what he looks like? Sonny lived a full life. He died at 83. It's
there
not
he
like
is.
yeah, that's Sonny right there, born October 8th, 1938. So the first time you meet him when you roll up to his place, 1978, you've been there now for 4 years. You've been a member. And when you walk up to him, see him for the first time, what was he talking to you about? What was your impression of him? Were you impressed? Were you like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting my hero?
We talked about the war with the Mongols.
Okay.
Talked about my political rise. He had an interesting philosophy. Not that particular day, but in the future day, we started talking about members, and he said, "You had a pretty good run here, George." He goes, you came a long way fast. And he goes, a lot of these guys, he goes, they come here, and he goes, I let them burn themselves out. He goes, just filler for us. And I said, well, I don't really want to take that posture about a brother. And that was how he saw people. He didn't care. People were expendable to him. And it's obvious by the things that happened. Tiny was he was part of Hell's Angels 69, that movie. Terry the Tramp was very popular in that movie, Hell's Angels 69. Terry the Tramp was a very flamboyant, and he kind of stole the show in Hell's Angels 69. And he wound up with a hot shot. You know what a hot shot is? Hot shot, if somebody has a propensity to use narcotics, like to shoot them intravenously, you can mix up a special concoction, and they shoot themselves with it, and it like collapses their lungs, and they wind up ODing is what they do, and that's how Tiny died. Animal, I got off track. Paul Animal Hibbets and I, he confessed to me in probably 77 or 78 that he was there when the hot shot was given to Terry.
He was there present when it was given.
He was present, yeah. And
who gave it to him? Was it a shot coming from Sonny?
Well, it came from Sonny. Sonny wasn't there. He sent over Animal, and Animal never told me who his accomplice was. I was told later that it was Bobby Dirt that had assisted him.
Yeah, you guys know how to pick names.
Yeah, we got some names.
Legit names.
And, I want to tell you a funny story, and then we'll get back on this. In court in 2002... is
that Bobby Dirt?
Bobby the Dirt. In 2002, a Superior Court Judge in Ventura ruled that it was perfectly realistic to think that Hell's Angels only went by monikers. Because the district attorney was saying, I want to know their exact names. I said, I don't know his name, And
can you imagine? But what's your name, by the way? Honestly, I forgot my own name. I just know it as it.
And how convenient.
Yeah. In the military, we used to call each other by our last name. When I was in the Army, it was not like you would talk to Mendoza. I'm like, what's your first name? We don't even know your first name. No. It's always last name. But David, Jones, Mendoza, Tucker. Right. It was always a the last thing we'd go by. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.